Hello everyone and welcome back. I've had a little bit of cold this past week, so sorry if my voice sounds a little rough, and I hope you'll stick with me through it. In this setup, I'm going to be doing my financials, but before we get to that, I wanted to show you my table of contents, where I have the title of the page and then followed by the page number. Then I also have the 3 little stickers that I've been using, and I put those on the side of my bullet journal just as a marker. And so the ones that I have are calendars or a monthly setup, my habit tracker, to do, and then today we'll be adding a financial. So now I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the first page that we're going to be doing, and I'll go ahead and speed up the video so that you just don't have to see me lining it out forever, and also to help shorten the video. This first page that we're going to be doing here is going to be a financial overview of all of the loans or credit cards or trips that I'm paying off, and I'm going to track the balances throughout the year as well as the extra payments that I'm applying to them, just so that I can kind of use it as sort of a snowball tracker to go ahead and, as I pay one loan off, go ahead and add that extra payment to the next loan. So the way that I've set this up is a total of 14 columns, with the first column being the account, and then thereafter it being January through December, and the final column being an annual overview that I'll do at the end of the year. Then each row has got 2 rows within it, and so I've outlined that with my Tombow to help it be more visual and easier to read. And so I'm going to put the account balance on the top part of the row, and then on the bottom gray part of the row I will put the amount of extra that I've applied to it. And so I've set all of this up using my Tombows as well as using my Faber-Castell pen, and then on the last part to write it in I used my Gel Pilot pen, which I really like writing with because I just think that the gel pens make my writing a lot smoother. For this next page, I apologize because I didn't realize that my camera had cut out, and so you've missed part of the setup, but you really didn't miss too much because it was just me outlining the lines with my Tombow like I did on the previous page. This financial part is going to be what I call my budget, and it's really not so much of a budget in the sense that I've planned out what I'm going to spend each year, but it's more a recording of each month of what I have spent. And this kind of allows me every month to review what I'm spending and to say, okay, I need to cut back on eating at restaurants, or I need to quit spending so much on, whatever it might be. And so it's a great way, if you've never set up a budget, to kind of start one, because you can sort of look at it, what you're spending each month, and then use that for the next year to be able to say, okay, on average I spent this much on groceries, or I spent this much on eating out, and that'll allow you to sort of realize what a realistic budget would be for you. So I've just set up the bills and then the months of the year in the column, and then wrote budget in my 2018 with my Tombow. And then I'm just going through here, and I found this quote on Pinterest that says, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. And so I'm just hoping that this is going to inspire me to not spend so much on the things that I want to, and save a little bit so that I can do more fun things rather than just having to pay off bills. This next page you guys might find to be a little bit redundant, but it may help some of you that are more visually inclined to recording your debt payoff more than just a quantitative way. So each little banner is going to be a bill that I'm paying off, and each little square box is going to be a certain amount. So example, in the first one, each one represents $200, but you can set it up however you want to. Obviously on this page, I'm not going to include all of my larger debts just because they wouldn't really fit on the page and it would really not make sense to do it. So these are sort of debts that I can pay off pretty quickly, and that way it will help me to feel more accomplished about everything. I apologize because my camera cut out again, but all that you really missed was me going through with my rotary mechanical pencil and drawing it in each little box for each of the bills that I was paying off. And then I went ahead and put the header of each bill that I'm paying off. On the side, what I'll also do is put the total amount next to the loan, or maybe at the end of the banner, I'll put the total amount that needs to be paid. So now just flipping over to the last page that I'm going to do in my financial setup here is a savings tracker. I found this savings tracker on Pinterest whenever I searched for savings plan or savings challenge. They have a lot of these different savings challenges on there. This one I chose is a weekly savings for 52 weeks, and at the end of it, you save $10,000. I started this back in October because I really wanted to focus on putting some money away for things that might happen in the future, whether that was for retirement or for adding on to our house or anything big that may happen. Because I started saving in October of last year, I decided not to redo the entire savings tracker, and instead starting at week 41 and continuing through week 52, and then starting back at week 1 for the new year. This is what I love about bullet journaling, because you can customize it to your life. So if you don't find this video until July of this year, and you want to start your own savings tracker, then you can start it at whatever week you want to. Since I wanted my savings tracker to be the primary focus of this page, I decided to just do a little doodle on the left-hand side. And I wanted it to be something associated with savings, and so I thought kind of a rainy day savings would be a good idea. I was inspired by a picture of a doodle that I found on Pinterest from ArtWeb, and I'll put that in the left-hand corner so you guys can see it. I started my doodle by doing a rough sketch with my rotary mechanical pencil. Once I was happy with my sketch, I went back with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen and went ahead and drew over those places, filling in the clouds and the raindrops, using sort of a Zentangle pattern in some instances. The reason I went with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen is because I knew I wanted to use these new Derwent graphic fine liner paint pens that I have, and I wasn't sure how they would react or how watery they would be. So I knew that the Pitt Artist pen is supposed to be really good with not smudging and being waterproof. And overall, I'm really happy with how my sketch turned out. I like that it's in a little mason jar and the little pops of color really help it to stand out. The last thing that I did was go ahead and put a title, which obviously, as you can see, says Rainy Day Savings, and I wanted to do the first part Rainy Day in some bubble letters just to have a different sort of font, because I do tend to do a lot of my bullet journal in the faux calligraphy or cursive, and this just gave it a little more fun, I thought, than just doing the straight up cursive. The next thing that I did was just to add that little bit of extra to the bubbles to make it look like they were little water droplets, was to go back in with one of the Derwent graphic fine liners and add in the white. I then went back through once it had dried with my Faber-Castell pen and outlined it. And sorry about my head popping in there. Finishing touch to the page, using my MIDI liner, I went ahead and highlighted all the weeks that I have already saved, and then for the first week of January. The last part here is just adding on my little stickers for all of the financial part. And I got these off of Amazon. I'll try and put a link on the bottom below. But I really enjoy using these. The big thing is when you stick them on there, you really need to press down, because if you don't, I've had some times where they'll come apart and they'll stick to another page, but usually if you press down really hard, it really isn't a problem. And so here's just a last flip through my book of what I've done. I hope that you really enjoyed it and can use some of this for your own bullet journal. And if you've enjoyed seeing this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thanks, and have a great week.